Hello, good morning, and welcome to the program Eyes on Corruption. My name is J. Ehizefa Okale, and for today's topic on the program, we have if Nigerians still vote for the same crooked politicians, what next? What next are we going to expect if Nigerians continue to vote the crooked politicians rather than hearken to the voice of reasoning? Sit back and relax while we watch the jingles, please.
Eyes on Corruption, Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, GCSDN presents Eyes on Corruption, a weekly x-ray of social and political issues. Eyes on Corruption, an expose on issues that bother on corruption-related practices in Nigeria. Eyes on Corruption, informative, educative, and enlightening. Eyes on Corruption, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Join us on our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and our website, gcsdn.org. Host, J. Ehizefua Ohali.
Once again, you're welcome to the program. We are reaching you from multiple social media platforms. Please share, like, and make your comments and suggestions as the program goes on. Okay, all right. Nigerians will be going to the poll by February 25th, 2023 to hire a new set of persons to manage the affairs of our country. This will only be possible if the security agencies and the INEC, that's the Independent National Electoral Commission, can put their acts together to guarantee a safe, credible, free, and fair election. The electorates are getting excited so far and are scrutinizing the various political aspirants in the various levels of government. Nigerians have never had it so bad in the area of socio-economic well-being of the citizens. The devastating era of the PDP, where people liken living situation to hell, has become a child's play when compared with the experience of the past 8 years of APC, a movement championed by Nigerians both home and abroad to take the country back from the misrule of both the APC and the PDP, has come to be the only source of hope for Nigerians as we wait for the 2023 election. Bearing intimidation, undue influence, and other criminality perpetrated normally by the politicians or the die-hard political thieves, Nigerians may be able to experience a new lease of life. But if the criminal electioneering machinery of the rogue politicians compels some Nigerians to still go ahead and elect them, then Nigeria's situation will be worse than Ethiopia, Afghanistan, Somalia, and Angola put together. To stem this looming tide, please go and get your voter's card and vote the only presidential candidate that can be trusted in the person of Peter Obi and Yusuf Dati Ahmed of the Labour Party. Nigerians must do everything possible to take their destiny into their hands by taking back the country from the rogue politicians and save it for the next generation of our kids. This is our clarion call to you, Nigerians. I hope we'll all key into this. Thank you very much for being part of this program. We are reaching you from multiple social media platforms. Like I earlier said, please go ahead, indicate your comments in the comment section, your concerns and suggestions as the program goes on, okay? All right. Now, talking about the political process that is ongoing and the possible aftermath if the genuine will of the people is circumvented by the rogue politicians who want to throw money around to buy people's conscience because poverty has been weaponized in the nation. And for that reason, the average person wants to get his next meal at all costs. For that reason, the political process could be marred by undue influence with money. The money bags wanting to coerce people to vote for them, either through intimidation or providing their next meal for those that have no hope of the next meal. This is in a nation where the national debt has risen to about 44 trillion. Some circles have had it that it is even more than that, that is even up to 77 trillion naira. But whatever amount that is the actual debt of the nation, the truth is that over 133 million Nigerians have been pushed into multidimensional poverty by virtue of the misrule of the rogue politicians in Nigeria, right from independence, so to speak. The misrule of the politicians who care less about the interests of the masses, rather focusing on their personal gains by looting and pilfering the nation's resources for their own advantage and spreading it only amongst themselves and their cronies. This is not an acceptable situation. In other climes, most of the political heavyweights that we see around in Nigeria ought to be in jail. They ought to be lamenting in jail because they have pauperized the nation, they have pauperized the masses by their evil acts, unlawful conduct, lawlessness in every ramification, and all sorts of evil that he has unleashed on the masses of the nation. So far, they have weaponized poverty to the extent that the average man wants to know how to get his next meal and will compromise at any level to ensure that he gets that next meal. So, fellow Nigerians, we must begin to think and make sacrifices and make enduring sacrifices to actually change the status quo. We cannot continue to be like this. We have the best brains in the world making waves all over the countries of the world. How is it that the leadership problem in Nigeria is a problem without solution for the existence of the Nigerian state? There is injustice in all spheres. There is lack of political will by those in power to do the needful, to actually follow the constitution of the nation in terms of the political processes. We need to have a rethink and ensure that we are championing the cause to change the narrative in our nation. Passivity is not a solution to the problems on ground. We must, as a matter of urgency, continue to galvanize resources, put in our efforts, our skills, our expertise to ensure that come February 2023, the only politician amongst the options available to us that can be trusted is voted into power so that we can begin to align ourselves on the path of progress. With the decadence in the society at this moment, with the financial recklessness of the past government and the present, whoever is coming to power will have an awesome, a Herculean task to perform. So we must be prepared to ensure that we sack these political thieves that have pauperized the nation and weaponized poverty to their own advantage. This status quo must change. Go and get your PVC, vote the Labour Party, Gregory Obi, who is the only option amongst the few that can be trusted, that we can align with. This is a vote to take back our country from the thieves, from the rogues, from the criminals who are supposed to be servants of the people but have made themselves lords over us. This situation must change, and we cannot continue to condone this. A situation where 6.5 trillion will be used in servicing debt in a nation that we cannot even generate this amount. This is unacceptable. Of the humongous debt owed by Nigerian government, 83.57% is owed to China alone. 83.57% of the total debt is owed to China alone. By implication, we have sold Nigeria to China by virtue of the loans we have collected from them. And the impact of this loan has not been felt in the nation of over 210 million population. We cannot continue to do things as usual and expect a better result. No way. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the program Eyes on Corruption, coming to you under the auspices of the Global Coalition for Democracy, for Security and Democracy in Nigeria. We have some comments in the comment section. Let's have a look at them. We have Gladys. Anyone voting Tinubu or Atiku at this point, these are the group of people that will require education in right place, that will require education in right values, and would need reorientation. Thank you, Gladys Adebola, for your comment. Anyone voting Tinubu or Atiku at this point are the group of people that will need re-education and reorientation. Thank you very much. And we have another comment from Akinshola. Akinshola's comment says, well done. You are doing a great job, a good job, and pursuing right course always. I remain grateful for your relentless efforts. I advise people should get the PVC and educate many others. Thank you, Akin Ishola. We are all in this together. We must make determined efforts to sack the rogue politicians and enthrone people of character, competence, integrity, and humility. People with the right skill set and mindset to transform our nation from a consumption nation to a production nation. Thank you very much for your comments. We are sorry about that. We are determined to make this happen, and Nigerians in all spheres of life must, as a matter of urgency, begin to reorientate minds and values of people to see to it that this nation is not allowed to crumble, because the political thieves and political thugs have hijacked the process all along. Now, back to our discussion. Now, as at today, the pump price of petrol has risen to $202.48 officially. Diesel has risen to $808 naira 87 cents, and kerosene has risen to 1,041 naira 0.05. This is not acceptable in a country where the minimum wage of 30,000 naira is not even paid by all employers. Cost of commodities have risen astronomically beyond the imagination of any right-thinking person. They continue to tell us, oh, what they found on ground, as if they were not prepared for the tax ahead of them before they asked for people to vote for them. This is not acceptable. Excuses no longer acceptable. We are determined to change the narrative. Vote for Peter Obi, for a new Nigeria, for a conscientious team of leaders to lead our nation to a greater future, so that we'll be able to bequeath a better nation to our children and our children's children. We cannot continue to be idle. We cannot continue to be docile and allow these rogues to continue to rub wool on our eyes. This is not acceptable, Nigerians. We must take the bull by the horn. As of today, unemployment record stands at 33.3%. Of this, 22.8% are underemployed. We're talking of underemployment, people who just have something doing, but it is not commensurate to their skill set, to their qualification, or to their expertise. That is underemployment of 22.8%. And we have youth unemployment at 42.5% in a nation of over 200 million Nigerians. It is worthy to note that with the recent registration of voters, the percentage of youths that have collected their PIV, that have registered to vote, is so much that we begin to wonder, where have the youths been all along in the electioneering processes? So we have a teeming population of youths registering to vote at this year's election come February, and we do hope that they are properly sensitized and politically aware to the extent that they know that their vote counts, with the assurance by INEC that beavers will be used to transmit electoral results directly from the polling units. There is some ray of assurance from the INEC, but we need the security agencies to assure us also that life and properties will be safe and secured during this electioneering time. We must be aware of the fact that the presidential candidates, most of them have resorted to using gutter words rather than facing the issues and telling us what they are able to do, what they will be doing, and how they're going to do whatever they are going to do to ensure that the country moves forward. Rather than doing that, they have resorted to abusive words and some discreditable comments to their opponents, which is not civil, which is not a responsible way of campaigning. But we do know that only the responsible persons and those that are trustworthy needs our votes. So that is not anything new anymore. For this reason, I enjoin all Nigerians to go and get their voters card and ensure that come February 25th, 2023, they go and vote the candidate of their choice, and that is the candidate that can be trusted amongst the political aspirants. In all tiers of government, both at the federal, state, and local levels, please go and vote only people of impeccable character, people of competence, people with credibility, people we can trust. On that note, I urge you to have a rethink so that when posterity beckons on you tomorrow and asks, what did you do when Nigeria was in trouble and needed a savior? Did you toe the line of destruction by voting the rogue politicians that have kept us this way? The answer, I leave the answer to your conscience. I leave the answer to your conscience. So Nigeria, we must recover our country back from their hands and ensure that the petrol price comes down to an acceptable level by voting the right candidate. We must ensure that the debt burden placed on us by the rogue administrations in the past and present are properly scrutinized and audited so that those that are involved will be made to pay dearly for this arrogancy and incompetence. Let us join our hands together and ensure that we have a better country for our kids and our children's children. Nigeria is for us all. We must not fold our hands and allow it to go the way it is going right now. Go and get your voter's card and ensure we are properly guided in voting the right candidate. I want similar things to be happening in Nigeria, where politicians will be disgraced. Take a look at this, what happened in Ghana.
We need job, Lion, we need job. Job, no rice. Job, no rice. Job, not rice.
Just to recap what happened there, these are youths in Ghana. Politicians were distributing rice, money, and all kinds of things to them to influence them to vote for them. But these youths, they were determined and said, we have not been better off voting all this set of people. And these are known people amongst them. So they decided to throw these things at them, at the so-called politicians, rejecting the bribe, rejecting whatever they're giving them, telling them, we need jobs. We need jobs. Go with your rights. We don't want you. We need jobs. You know, these are the kind of things I want to Nigerians to be, emulating. You can even take their money. Don't vote for them. They are rogues. It is your money they are giving back to you. It is your money they are giving back to you. They steal the money from the coffers of the government by way of budget padding, inflation of contracts and all that. They use their money to intimidate you, to coerce you, to compel you to vote for them. But meanwhile, they are stealing from you and refuse to provide you the necessary services to make the country better, for all, irrespective of the social status. This is what we want to happen in Nigeria, as it is done in other climes, where the leaders are answerable to the people at every given instance, where the leaders communicate with the people what they want to do before they even do it, and what they have done, and the impact and the result of such actions of theirs. These are the things we want to be happening in Nigeria, and that is why we must vote in credible leaders in the person of Peter Obi that we have found credible and trustworthy. We want every Nigerian politician to emulate these qualities and be answerable to the people, display that sense of humility, and be a true servant of the people. That is what we want. A country where we'll be able to compete with every part of the developed world in terms of our resources, in terms of our expertise, in terms of the basic amenities of life available to the citizens, in terms of social security for the people, in terms of financial security for the people, in terms of having a better life and an enabling environment to thrive. This is what we want for our nation, and we must all join hands together and ensure this come to pass by voting, by going out on February 25th, 2023 to cast our vote conscientiously without the undue influence from these political rogues. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Until I come your way again next week, it is the program Eyes on Corruption, reaching you from multiple social media platforms. Have a good day and a good rest of the week. Thank you and God bless.